23. Timelines. Now we must return to the blue feather. It is one thing to manifest a feather into your life simply by envisioning it every day until it shows up. But it is another if you happen to want the feather right now. This is where things get tricky. As much as your subconscious may be looking for the blue feather, sometimes there's simply not one around. Yet very advanced manifestors can make a feather float down from the ceiling or appear in their pocket as if it had been there all along. Remember the coin flip? Not only are the desires of everyone involved affecting the outcome of the flip, but the desires from the past and future affect it as well. Let's say you lose the flip and find out later that your partner really wanted to go out to dinner. Now you're wishing you hadn't bet $50 with your friend. A really advanced meditator could make that $50 appear in his pocket, plus the 50 from his friend as if he had never lost the bet. This is called jumping timelines. If you manifest hard enough, and by hard enough I mean getting into a very deep state of theta and envisioning a circumstance with a completely unified will, you can jump into the timeline where you won the bet. Project Looking Glass began experimenting with this technique in the early 90s. They started by trying to go back and affect small outcomes like coin flips. This caused minimal disturbances in the timeline. Disturbances are instances where memory does not match the events of the current timeline. A meditator would flip a coin while being videotaped. Then they would attempt to go back and affect the outcome. Sometimes they were successful, and the video recording would show heads, even though everyone remembered that the coin had landed on tails. That's the thing about jumping timelines. It doesn't entirely erase the memory of the old timeline. It was not long after these experiments that Project Looking Glass realized with enough people manifesting the same thing simultaneously, they could jump timelines on a much larger scale. Up to this point, they had primarily been concerned with manipulating the outcome of future events. Indeed, the fall of the Soviet Union was thought to be a direct result of focused manifesting by the Looking Glass meditators throughout the 80s. However, manipulating the future took time, and the results were often imprecise. The prospect of jumping timelines, however, promised results on a much shorter timescale. The only problem was that the number of manifestors required for such a maneuver was too great. The combined desires of billions of people on the planet, even in beta brain states, were too much to overcome with the relatively small staff of manifestors at Project Looking Glass. In order to lower the threshold for jumping all of humanity into a new timeline, they first needed to manufacture some catastrophic event that would plunge the population into a state of fear. You see, when people are in a state of fear and confusion, they are often least effective at manifesting their own desires, leaving their reality open to influence from outside agents. If Project Looking Glass could get enough people in a state of fear, then they could jump timelines into the world they wanted without anyone noticing and without the pesky desires of the public getting in their way. Excerpt from Confessions of a Government Manifestor.